Yes. Yes, 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 yes. We are live. Are we live? Oh my goodness. Are we live for the first time in 2023? Are we live? Hang on 1 second. Are we live? Are we alive right now? Are you alive? Am I alive? Are we both alive? Is it possible that we're both alive right now? What's up, Star Wars fans? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars here. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What's going on? New Year? New Year? Same old Star Wars? Same old, same old, same old, same old? A lot of crazy things going on in Star Wars in 2023. So we're obviously going to talk about all the upcoming projects in 2023 for Star Wars. But we're also going to predict what's going on in the Bad Batch. Because the Bad Batch comes out in what? Like 14 hours. Comes out in 14 hours. I'll be there. You'll be there. We'll all be there. We're doing a watch party at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whatever that means for you, whatever time of day that is for you, be there. We're doing a watch party as soon as the episodes drop. There's two episode premiere. So watch out for that. 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 14 hours from now, we're going live. We're talking about all of it live. And we're breaking it down. We're live watch partying, live reacting, all the fun stuff. It's going on live at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be there or don't, but I'd prefer you be there, you know? Let's watch it together. Why not? Why not? So 2023, it's a humongous year for Star Wars, and like I just said, we're starting off with hopefully a bang with The Bad Batch. So The Bad Batch, this is a clip from their trailer for Season 2. They clearly got a new look. They aren't the red and black and gray that we saw in Season 1. They got colors now. They're not the Empire anymore. They're their own kind of whatever. You can see Wrecker's got some yellow on him. Omega's got a new hat. Hunter's got a bunch of different colors. All the fun stuff, you know? All the cool, fun stuff. You also have, we also got a look at Crosshair, who is like all dark blue or black or whatever. He's gone full Empire. He's still with the Empire we saw at the end of the first season. I just finished rewatching the first season, and that first season I forgot how good it was, honestly. Some of the early episodes are really, really good, but even down the stretch, you get some great episodes. You get Cad Bane, you get Fennec Shand, but the early on episodes where you, like the first episode where you see Kanan and his master die, and then Hunter helps him escape, it's really cool. But we start off the year with The Bad Batch, and it starts tomorrow, in 14 hours from now, with the 2-episode premiere. And that's going to run for 16 weeks, or, well, 14 weeks, or even less, actually, 13 weeks, something like that. 16 episodes, but we have double-up weeks where the finale is going to be 2 episodes, the premiere is going to be 2 episodes, and somewhere in the middle of the season is also going to be 2 episodes. So it's 16 episodes total, but, you know, it's not actually 16 weeks. So that's going from January 4th, tomorrow, until whenever it ends, you know. But then next up on the list for the year is March 1st, and that's again only less than 2 months from now, and that is The Mandalorian Season 3. And The Mandalorian Season 3, of course, has a ton of hype around it. I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it just yet, but when they give another trailer or something crazy happens or some news gets dropped about it, it's going to go crazy, because The Mandalorian Season 2 and 1 were insane. The biggest thing for Star Wars in a long, long time, because of Grogu, and because of Din Djarin, and because of all the characters that appeared in The Mandalorian Season 2, like Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano and all that cool things that happened in The Mandalorian Season 2. But The Mandalorian Season 2 was over 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So it's been a long time removed from these characters, from The Mandalorian itself. So a lot of fans I've seen in the comment sections have had concerns about whether or not the hype is there for The Mandalorian Season 3, whether or not people are actually excited for The Mandalorian Season 3. I'm personally very excited for it, but a lot of people seem to think there's going to be a drop-off from Mandalorian Season 2 to Season 3. And I can see where that kind of comes from, because how can you top Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett's return for the first time in 40 years? Boba Fett's back. Luke Skywalker in the finale. How can you top that in Season 3? It'll be extremely hard, but I don't think they're going to try to, like, go cameo fest in Season 3. I think it's going to be Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, maybe even Boba Fett fight for the throne of Mandalore. You're going to go back to Mandalore, which we know is destroyed. You're going to see the wreckage of Mandalore. All the Clone Wars fans and Rebels fans are going to be extremely pleased watching this show, I'm sure. But The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 really geared towards the casual fans. There were some Easter eggs in there, some of the hardcore, sweaty people like us really looked at. But Grogu is a fan favorite character. Brought in a lot of new fans to Star Wars and kept some casuals hanging around, because who doesn't like Grogu? I mean, come on, who doesn't like Grogu? Look down, he's on your shirt. He is. If you look down right now, I bet you 100% he's on your shirt. You can see him wearing the chainmail that he got from Luke Skywalker when he chose Din over the lightsaber from Yoda that Luke had at the end of Season 2. Or actually the end of Boba Fett. Yeah, so that was another big thing. We talked about this last week or last Friday, whenever it was. It's weird. It's weird that the end of The Mandalorian Season 2 was this huge separation between Din Djarin and Grogu, and it was very emotional. Grogu goes off to train with Luke and all this stuff. But now they're back together. At the beginning of Season 3, because, of course, in the Book of Boba Fett, they get reunited, and Grogu leaves Luke and chooses Din. But people who didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett are going to be extremely confused, because they're like, wait, this huge emotional thing that happened at the end of Season 2 didn't mean anything? Because in some offshoot show, they got back together. The band got back together. I see people's problem with that. I see how that might be a little bit concerning. But do you guys think that that's actually the biggest deal? Like, do you think people will actually be upset by the fact that Din and Grogu are back together, even though at the end of Season 2 they made a huge deal about them splitting up in some off-brand show called the Book of Boba Fett? They got back together. Do you think that's going to be a problem? Do you think people are going to dislike that very muchly? Because I honestly think that a lot of fans might actually complain about that. People who didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett because they're not a Book of Boba Fett fan, or they're not just a Boba Fett fan in general, or just don't really want to watch anything but Grogu and The Mandalorian. Star Wars Politics first in today says, probably not, but it makes me upset, lol. So it makes Star Wars Politics upset, and honestly makes me upset too. Why not just keep Grogu and Din apart until The Mandalorian Season 3? Why involve any of those characters? Well, I get you had to involve Din Djarin in the Book of Boba Fett to make it goated, but why involve the whole Luke and Grogu story in the Book of Boba Fett? When, first of all, Boba Fett's not even in the episodes, and second of all, it's the Mandalorian's story. It doesn't even happen in The Mandalorian. And now fans who didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett are going to be extremely confused when it comes to The Mandalorian Season 3. So will this Mandalorian Season 3 see a drop-off in views? Will The Mandalorian Season 3 not hit as hard as Mandalorian Season 2? Will we see Luke Skywalker? Will we see Ahsoka Tano in this? Is it going to be a cameo fest of a season? Or is it just going to be a Mandalorian versus Bo-Katan? Or maybe even versus Boba Fett for the throne of Mandalore? Going back to Mandalore, maybe even seeing places we recognize in Mandalore, maybe even seeing the caves that Mando has to go into to become a Mandalorian again because he took off his helmet. A lot of stuff could happen that's cool in the show, but I just don't think it's going to be a cameo fest like Season 2 was. And this all happens again on March 1st. Less than 2 months away, March 1st. Now, March is going to be a crazy, crazy month. Literally, the first 2 weeks are going to go insane because the Bad Batch is still coming out at this time. The Bad Batch is still coming out in March, and then The Mandalorian starts March 1st, and then it gets even crazier when this book gets released. Now, this is a book called Jedi Battle Scars. Now, this book takes place years before Jedi Survivor. So Jedi Survivor is the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, but this is the years before Jedi Survivor. So this is in between the two games, in between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. This is a book that's going to come out on March 7th. March 7th, this book comes out. It's called Jedi Battle Scars. It's going to be Cal Kestis. It's going to be Merrin. It's going to be the fifth brother here, and it's going to be Inquisitors hunting down Cal Kestis. The same kind of story as the first game. But it's going to come out on March 7th. It's probably going to fill in a lot of gaps of why Cal Kestis is alone in the trailer, why Marin's not there, why nobody's really there with him. Maybe they all die in this book. It would kind of be a weird thing to happen in the book, but it might explain a lot of things coming up in the upcoming game, which comes out on March 17th. Jedi Survivor comes out on March 17th. So let me recap that whole month of March for you. The Bad Batch Season 2 is still coming out every Wednesday in March. That's it. The Mandalorian Season 3 is coming out starting March 1st, and then every Wednesday after that. On March 7th, which is the next Wednesday, you get a book called Jedi Battle Scars, which is going to follow Cal Kestis in the years between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivors. And then a week later, or 10 days later, on March 17th, you're getting Jedi Survivor. What? This is all 2 months away. This is all 2 months away. All this wild, crazy stuff is all just 2 months away. You're going to be playing Star Wars video games while watching The Mandalorian Season 3 and The Bad Batch Season 2 all at the same time. The month of March and even into April is going to be just wild. It's going to be a crazy time to be a Star Wars fan. It's going to have a lot of fun things happening for Star Wars fans. It's going to be wild. Star Wars Politics back in says, I think fans are over the cameos. People over at my channel are saying they don't want to see Ahsoka pop up in every project. Now I understand that a lot of people don't like the fan servicey type things in Star Wars. They don't like to see cameos all over the place. But The Mandalorian Season 2 did unbelievable. The numbers don't lie. You had Ahsoka, you had Bo-Katan, you had Boba Fett, you had Luke Skywalker, and the numbers don't lie. Obviously, they had a ton of cameos, but that brought in a ton of viewers. The numbers don't lie. The numbers really don't lie. Let's talk about this for a second. The numbers don't lie. They don't. So having a lot of cameos like that, it really brought in a lot of people because Luke Skywalker's back. Ahsoka Tano, first live action appearance. Boba Fett is back for the first time in 40 years. So yes, although it's cameos, and I'll put cameos in quotations, the cameos, there's a difference between fan service and people showing up. Luke Skywalker showing up makes sense. He's the only Jedi out there. Din is trying to find a Jedi to train Grogu with. Ahsoka Tano he finds, and Ahsoka says, I can't train him because he's looking for a Jedi. And then he goes to Tython, calls out on the Seeing Stone, and Luke Skywalker shows up. All that has to do with the story going on. It's not fan service. You can't call that fan service. That's just what the story of Star Wars is. These characters are relevant. They're around. They're main characters of the story, and they have connections to each other. So it's not fan service to have Luke Skywalker show up. And it's not fan service to have Ahsoka Tano show up. What's fan service is just throwing them in there for no reason. If it was like Din Djarin and Grogu are going to Mandalore in Season 3 to fight for the throne, and then Luke Skywalker shows up just randomly, no reason at all, Luke Skywalker shows up. That makes no sense. But in Season 2, Grogu and Din were looking for a Jedi. They were looking for Jedi to have Grogu get trained by or help them out, whatever. So when they found Ahsoka Tano and they found Luke Skywalker, it wasn't fan service. It made sense. It was what was supposed to happen in the story. Does that make sense? Fan service is a very broad term that gets used all the time, and I hate it because, honestly, Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan showing up in that second season is not fan service at all. Now, Boba Fett, on the other hand, maybe. He was teased out in the first season, and of course, they start the season off with his armor being found by Din Djarin, and then the rest of the season, you're like, when's Boba Fett going to show up? But that's, again, it's not really fan service. He shows up, he plays his part, he doesn't really do too much. It makes the fans go crazy, but I wouldn't call it fan service. Now, I know the cameos get people a little bit upset nowadays, but yeah, Ahsoka showing up in The Mandalorian Season 3, I don't see it likely, but it is possible. Now, Ahsoka's probably off doing her own things. The Ahsoka leaks are still going crazy. We're still getting more. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But obviously her whole thing with Thrawn, her whole thing with the World Between Worlds, she's doing her own thing. So I don't expect to see her in The Mandalorian Season 3. I don't know if you guys do. Do you think Ahsoka will show up in the season 3 of The Mandalorian? Do you think that she'll actually show up? Because I think we could go the whole season, and we don't know what the storyline is there. We don't know what's actually happening. But I think we could go the whole season without seeing Ahsoka, without seeing Luke Skywalker. But then again, is Bo-Katan being there fan service? Is maybe Boba Fett showing up fan service? Is maybe some other characters showing up? Is that fan service or cameos? Or are people not going to like that? I just don't see how people get upset about Luke Skywalker showing up. Young Luke Skywalker. Like, do you not like great things? Do you hate the cool things that Dave and John are trying to do for us? Do you hate them? Is it the worst thing in the world that they give us a young... I got too excited. I blew up the microphone. yeah. That's what you guys do. That's what you guys do when you get me too heated on Luke Skywalker showing up in The Mandalorian season 2. Okay. So after that crazy month of March, after that insane month of March with the video games, with the shows, 2 shows coming out every Wednesday, we keep going. The year doesn't end in March. I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't. It keeps going. Now this next one doesn't have a release date yet. It has no confirmed release date yet, but that is Star Wars Visions Season 2. Now Star Wars Visions was the first Legends material that Disney Star Wars created that actually had nothing to do with the Star Wars canon. They got a bunch of animation studios in Asia, and in Japan, I think, and they all created these cool episodes, and they were all different from each other. They all had their different kind of styles and all that stuff. There were some great episodes, I thought, with like Ronan, which was the first episode. You had the ninth sister or ninth brother. What was it called? The ninth something. That was one of the coolest episodes. You had the robot Jedi episode, which was pretty good. But then you had the like terrible ones, like the Tatooine Rhapsody. That was so bad. So it was like all over the place. But a lot of people tended to like Star Wars Visions, including myself. I thought the Ronin episode was unbelievable. It was so good. And some of the other episodes, like the Ninth Brother or whatever it was called, Ninth something, was really, really good. So I can't wait for the Visions Season 2. And it just happened again. Got too excited. And it also has other studios across the world working on it this year. This is actually going to be literally animation studios from all over working on Season 2. So we could see some, hopefully, continuations of stories like Ronan's story. We'll see a continuation of that. Maybe even the twins' story arc, we'll see a continuation of that. But you never know. I mean, Star Wars Visions is kind of just riding under the radar like the first season did. It didn't get all that many views because not a lot of people wanted to watch it, but there are a ton of Star Wars fans that miss the Legends. They miss the EU. They miss this extended Star Wars universe that was being made in the early 2000s, in the late 90s with the Heir to the Empire and the Dark Empire stuff. People miss those Legends material. They do. And when Star Wars bought it and they said, we're not doing the EU anymore, they were like, what the heck? And Star Wars Visions is kind of a continuation of that. It's new Legends material, and it is getting a lot of attention and detail by studios all across the world. So I think Star Wars Visions is kind of just coming in under the radar. And I think we could get some bangers like the Ronin episode and like the Ninth Brother, Sister, whatever it is episode in the second season. So I'm really hoping that the second season is as good, if not better, than the first season and cuts out all those crappy episodes in between. What about you guys? You excited for the Visions Season 2? Visions Season 2. Coming to you sometime soon. I don't know when, but hopefully I would guess around April or May. Maybe like early May. Maybe May the 4th, actually. They could release this as a surprise on May the 4th. It's a possibility. So now, all right, I'm okay. So this next project is my favorite, most anticipated project of the year, without a doubt. I am so extremely hyped for this. It is. I can't. I gotta go full screen. I cannot, in any words, describe to you how excited I am for this show. Okay, just put your expectations up to like 11 out of 10. Put them up to like 13 out of 10. We're talking about the most could be the greatest thing to ever happen to Star Wars in the history of Star Wars canon. Okay? Now that you got your expectations at the correct level, this is the show that comes out it says spring. There's still no release date. It says spring. I'm hoping, again, April, May, June, maybe even. And it could start off the summer with a bang and could be the greatest Star Wars thing to ever exist. Uh-oh, it zoomed in really far. Hang on. What the heck? Here we go. The greatest thing that ever happened to Star Wars. Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures. So this is the first time that we're ever going to the High Republic. The first time we're going to the High Republic. And before the Acolyte, before anything else, this is the first time on Disney Plus we're going to the High Republic. Obviously, you got Master Yoda over here training some younglings. It's the Young Jedi Adventures. They got the High Republic outfits on here. We got some weird droid-looking thing there. This is literally just a teddy bear. That's just a teddy bear. That has nothing to do with Star Wars at all. This literally looks like this is the teddy bear I had when I was a kid. What? Okay. This girl's just purple, and then yeah, that's what we got here. That's clearly gonna be the best show of the year. Calling it right now. Okay, but in all seriousness, this is the actual most anticipated show of the year, and that is Ahsoka. It is hands down. Everybody's extremely excited for it. All the leaks and rumors about it are absolutely wild. The World Between Worlds, her going to fight Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar through the World Between Worlds, her killing Thrawn through the World Between Worlds. A lot of insane leaks about the Ahsoka show through the World Between Worlds, but also in real time, she's going to the New Beyond. She's going to the New Beyond and finding Thrawn and finding Ezra and finding this new Jedi who turned to the dark side after Order 66 named Balin, with an apprentice named Shin, with an undead army of stormtroopers held together by like these golden cracks. The leaks for the Ahsoka show are absolutely insane. Like, just beyond wild. Like, so crazy that it's that's what happens to everybody's brain when you just think about the insanity that is this Ahsoka show, because the leaks are insane. It's been right in front of us right in front of your stupid face this entire time. This was the Ahsoka poster that was released with not this left half over here. This is just somebody's thumbnail, but this is the right half was the Ahsoka. When Ahsoka was announced, this was what we saw. This circle thing over here, and this is the World Between Worlds. Clearly, the World Between Worlds. And it was right in front of our face the entire time, but nobody was ever like, hey, maybe the Ahsoka Tano show is going to go into the World Between Worlds. If you're like, oh, I predicted that, yeah, you're lying to yourself. You're absolutely lying to yourself. You never thought the World Between Worlds was ever coming to live action, so you're lying to yourself. But the Ahsoka show is going to the World Between Worlds, and it was right in front of us right in front of your stupid face the entire time. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. Orb? Is that you? Orb? How do you say your name, buddy? Orb? What's up? Okay. So what do we think about the Ahsoka show? All these insane leaks? What do we think about this? This is absolutely wild. You're talking World Between Worlds. You're talking New Beyond. You're talking Thrawn and Ezra back. Sabine. Hera Syndulla. Night Sisters. An undead army of stormtroopers held together by gold. You got a new Jedi who survived Order 66 that turned to the dark side after he went to the unknown regions of the New Beyond. You have Shin, who is her apprentice, who's now got some crazy armor, who's hunting down Ahsoka Tano. Why? What do we think of the Ahsoka show? Because, again, most anticipated show by miles. It's like Bad Batch, The Mandalorian Season 3, and then just 3,000 feet up in the air, it's the Ahsoka show. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. Like, the Ahsoka show is just so far beyond anything we've ever seen, and it's going to be insane. And it's Dave Filoni through and through. He took all of his time to do this. Jon Favreau took control of The Mandalorian Season 3. Dave Filoni only was involved in 2 episodes. And he was like, I got to work on Ahsoka. And he worked on Ahsoka, gave us some insane stuff. Like, I mean, just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So not only like just alone, the world between worlds, her going back in time, rejoining the Jedi Order, fighting Anakin on Mustafar, that alone would be insane. That alone, just that alone would be wild. We talked about it for weeks. It was so crazy. And then you involve a new space with new Force users, with magic, with the Night Sisters, with Thrawn and Ezra, with an undead army of stormtroopers that are now have Sith magic, bringing them back to life. That's all. That's like every time you think about it, you're like, what? How? It's probably going to be 8 episodes, 6 maybe. 8, 6, 9 is usually what they're around for these shows. How are each episode going to be 3 hours long? Like, what? Star Wars 2, what is up? What do you think of the Ahsoka show? What do you think of this insane leaks about the world between worlds? About all about the world between worlds, about the new space, this new beyond, about Thrawn and Ezra having an undead army. Where is Ezra Bridger? He's not in any of these leaks. We got the cast. He is Iman Esfandi's going to play him, but he's not in any of these leaks. So Thrawn has this undead army with this Balin guy and his apprentice Shin, but Ezra's nowhere to be seen. What is going on? What is going on? The Ahsoka show is going to go insane, like absolutely insane. And I can't wait for it. I know you guys can't wait for it. Can we wait for it? I don't think we can. But again, no release date. No release date for this show just yet, at least. I'm hoping early summer, June. Might be like that Obi-Wan Kenobi release date time in June. And if not, it could be as late as like August. It could be August, September. That would be terrible. Imagine we had to wait 8 more months for this show. All these leaks we just got. Imagine we had to wait 8 more months for this show. Star Wars Stu in today saying, if Ezra's not in it, I'll lose it. Oh my God, if he's not even in the show? I didn't even think of that. If he's not even in the show? Hang on, we got to turn the Death Star to red. Boom, there we go. Because we're a little on the dark side here. Imagine Ezra's not even in the show. Imagine they just like talk about him and can't find him. They're like, Thrawn, where is he? And he's like, I don't know. I lost him a couple like years ago. Imagine Ezra's not even in the show. Or he's like a second ending in the last episode or like a post-credit scene. Oh my God, Star Wars Stu, what are you doing to me? I didn't even think of that. What if Ezra Bridger's not in the show? Oh, that would be so devastating. That would be so devastating. But I'm really hoping Ezra is, because he is by far my favorite character in the Star Wars Rebels show. He's one of my top 5 characters in Star Wars ever, just because his attachment to the dark side. He trained with Maul. When Kanan died, he clearly had this attachment, this pull to the dark side. His attachment to animals like the Loth Wolves. He teleported across the planet with the Loth Wolves. He's one of the only people we've seen go into the world between worlds. Him and Ahsoka. He's just very powerful, very cool, very intriguing. He's the same age as Luke Skywalker, the exact same age as Luke Skywalker. If we don't see him, that would just be devastating. It would be devastating. I think maybe we'll see Thrawn first, and then maybe it'll go on and talk about Ezra later, and maybe they find Ezra later. And maybe, who knows, maybe he's been imprisoned by Thrawn this whole time. Maybe he's off learning Sith magic. Maybe he's off learning the new ways of the Force in this new beyond. We don't really know. We don't. But we really hope that we see him in the show. Because if he's not there at all, that would be devastating. Absolutely devastating. So when do we think the Ahsoka show is actually going to come out? Because March is jam-packed with the Bad Batch, Mando, Jedi Survivor. Then you have to have Visions at some point. You have to have the Young Adventures, Jedi Adventures at some point. When do we think the Ahsoka show is going to come out? Because we can't just have the end of the year have really like nothing. We'll get to what comes next. There is something else to end the year. But do you think it could be like August? Do you think that's when it's going to come out? Is August? If we have to wait 8 to 9 more months for this show, I might, like, by the time we get to that show, I might be on the screen like this. Hang on. Only 2 more months until the Ahsoka show comes out. That's hang on, I gotta find those. That's how crazy it would get. If we have to wait 8 more months for the show, I mean, come on, that would be ridiculous. I'd lose my mind, and I think we all would. Star Wars 2 in again saying Ezra becoming a dark side user would be sick. I think he's going to be a gray Jedi like Ahsoka, though. Okay, so I don't think so. And now I know where you're coming from because he uses the dark side, he uses the light side, but I don't think Ezra has the ability to be a gray Jedi. You know, he really has that dark side pull. His parents died when he was young. Kanan, his mentor, died. He has that really strong pull to the dark side. He does. And I think that I don't see him being a gray Jedi. You know, I just see him being pulled to the dark side, being a dark side user, especially when he's in this new space with the Night Sisters, who are kind of dark side-ish Force users. They use the magic, Sith magic possibly. It's unknown where Ezra's going to be at mentally, at least when we find him, because he's been gone for so long. He's been with Thrawn. He's in this new place with Sith magic, with all this dark side energy around him. So I think we could honestly see a very, very dark side Ezra when we first see him, and maybe like he even attacks Ahsoka or even attacks Sabine or whoever shows up with her. And it might be bad. It might be real bad. Star Wars Politics in today saying, I thought Ezra may turn to the dark side, but now I'm thinking he'll stay with the light. Now, why do you say that? Why do you think he'll stay with the light? Because he's not with Thrawn? He's not in any of these leaks? Because of this Balin character? Because honestly, if you told me that Balin, this leaked character Balin, was Ezra, if you told me that Thrawn somehow got Ezra full dark side and created this army with him, then I would totally believe that. Ezra could easily go either way. He could go to the light, he could go to the dark, but him not being in these leaks, I see where you're at with that. I see that him not being in these leaks leads us to believe that he could be on a lighter path, trying to avoid the dark side at all costs. Because at the end of Rebels, he is in Diego, what's up? He is in a lighter spot. In those earlier seasons of Rebels, he's kind of in the darker side. Star Wars Politics says again, making Star Wars Jason Ward said Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra will be on the run from an undead stormtrooper army of Sith and the assassin Shin. Did he include Ezra in that? Did he include Ezra being on the run? That I did not read that actually. That would be really cool. Because I'm doing great, Diego. Hang on. Because that would be real. I did not read that. Ezra also on the run. Because, again, yes, we know Ezra's in hiding. He's not with Thrawn in these leaks. But he did go with Thrawn immediately. They were on the same ship with the Portal. They escaped to this new beyond together. So did they break up immediately there? Did they split off and go their own ways? And then Thrawn comes across this dark Jedi and they get this undead army. And Ezra's still on the run. Or did they work together for a while? Or is it like when Zeb and General, whatever his name is, they get trapped on that planet together and have to work together? Is it a scenario where Thrawn and Ezra have to work together to survive? And then where is Ezra? Because we know Ahsoka and Sabine are going to be on the run from this undead empire and this Sith assassin named Shin. But is Ezra going to be with them? Is Ezra going to be in the show? Like Star Wars Stu said, maybe he's not even in the show. Star Wars Stu coming in again saying, yeah, true, the only ones keeping him from the dark side really were his new family, and especially Kanan, who is now dead, of course. So yeah, he could have definitely become a dark side user for sure, for losing everybody. Yeah, so for sure, definitely he lost his whole family. He's no longer with Hera, Ahsoka, Sabine, Zeb, any of them. Kanan's dead. And you saw right after Kanan's death, he went hard to the dark side. He shaved his head. He killed a bunch of people. And in Rebels, that was a dark time for Ezra. It was when Kanan died. So losing the rest of his family, maybe thinking that they're all dead, could really push him over the edge and bring him to the dark side completely. And maybe Thrawn utilizes that. And maybe these leaks are wrong. Maybe this Balin character is just a code name for Ezra. And maybe Ezra is working with Thrawn as a dark side user. Diego says, I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Great new year. A ton of fun Star Wars stuff going on, and I can't wait for it. Diego, what's your most anticipated show of 2023? Mikey in today saying, I hope we really get to... Mikey, my name's Mike. Did you know that? Mike and Mike. Mike and Mike. I really hope we get to see a fight with Ahsoka, Ezra, and Luke versus Balin. I think it's Balin. I don't know if that was whatever. And Shin. We need a good live action. What the hell does that say? Oh, a good live action multi-opponent lightsaber fight. What do you think? Okay, so yes, there hasn't been a multi-character like lightsaber duel in a long time. You think about the Clone Wars, it was the clones versus the droids. You think about the Empire, it was the stormtroopers versus the rebellion. And it was always one lightsaber guy versus another lightsaber guy. It was Anakin versus Obi-Wan. It was Luke versus Vader. It was never multiple lightsabers versus multiple lightsabers. So yes, I agree with you, Mikey. It would be really cool to see Luke, Ezra, and Ahsoka versus Balin, Shin, and maybe even another red lightsaber. We're talking about like the old Republic, where there's hundreds of Sith versus hundreds of Jedi, and they all have lightsabers, and there's these awesome, cool duels of multi-lightsaber duels. I think it would be really, really cool, Mikey. Honestly, it would be really, really cool. So it's unlikely. I still think that Ezra is going to be a dark side user. So maybe it's Ezra versus Luke and Ahsoka and this Balin character and Shin and Thrawn and his undead empire. It's going to be very, very cool. Whatever it is, it's going to be cool. I know for sure. Diego says, I really don't know, to be honest, on his most anticipated show of the year. I haven't checked out Star Wars these days. What? Diego, what are you doing? Did you watch Tales of the Jedi at least? Did you watch Tales of the Jedi? Come on, please, tell me. If you've seen Star Wars Rebels at least, what are you doing? What are you doing, Diego? All right, we'll go back to Ahsoka, but we have to continue on what's coming up in 2023. I'm not at the end yet. The Ahsoka show wasn't the end of 2023. We still got more. Okay, let me keep going. Diego watched Rebels. Okay, jeez. Whew. Thank God. All right. So yes, after the Ahsoka show, Skeleton Crew. So this is going to have Jude Law as the lead with a bunch of kids in it. Still no release date for this either. We're hoping that it's going to be in that fall/winter release date. We don't really know yet. Maybe we'll see this. If the Ahsoka show comes out in like June, this could come out in September or even August. And maybe it'll be that next show. And if that's the case, we could have another show by the end of this year. But the Skeleton Crew is one of these shows that is kind of just on the edge there. It's not like... Not a lot of people are too excited for it, but they are talking about the new Beyond being involved. They are talking about this, maybe even that Balin Jedi being involved. They are talking about a lot of things with this Skeleton Crew show and how it could be a lot better than a lot of people think. There are a lot of things that could be involved that would make it a lot better, like the Night Sisters, like even Ahsoka, but it is supposed to take place before the events of The Mandalorian. Season 1 even, so it's going to be around the time of Return of the Jedi, but it's going to take place mostly in the New Beyond, and that's why it has no effect on the characters that we know. Let's change the color of this thing back here. Green, what are we thinking? Green, blue, or red, or white, or purple, or orange, or what color are we feeling? I'm going to stick with the green for now. So yeah, Jude Law, coming to Star Wars is great. Jude Law played Watson and Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes. He played, of course, Dumbledore in their most recent Fantastic Beasts. I didn't even see that, by the way. I don't know if anybody watched that, but Jude Law is a big name to come to Star Wars, which is exciting. And John Watts is directing it. John Watts, the guy who directed the Tom Holland trilogy of Spider-Man, even No Way Home. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting, and it's probably going to be the end of the year. Hopefully August, September maybe. That's what we're hoping. That's what we're really, really hoping. That's what we're hoping. Yeah, that's what we're hoping. What the heck is this? How do I get rid of this person? Don't talk to this person in the chat. Don't do it. Don't do it. Star Wars Stew in today saying, yeah, I think Ezra will be a dark side user, and Ahsoka will try to turn him eventually, leading to Ezra fighting her. So now that would be absolutely insane. An Ezra versus Ahsoka battle would be so cool. Just a one-on-one, because they were friends. It would really just, you'd have to see Ezra be dark side, and you'd have to have an explanation for him being dark side. It would have to be compelling, and it would have to lead to them actually fighting each other, because Ezra learned a lot from Ahsoka. Ezra learned a lot from Kanan, obviously, and even Darth Maul, but Ahsoka was one of his main training people, masters. And so maybe it's like, yeah, maybe that's the Diego. I completely agree with you. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to get rid of him. Just ignore it. What is going on here? What? Okay. Let's ignore those people. For now. Okay. So yeah, Ezra fighting Ahsoka would be so cool. I mean, Ezra versus Ahsoka would be awesome. There's no denying that. It would be so cool. I don't know how to delete their chats, so just ignore them for now. I guess, I don't know. I'm clicking this, but it doesn't seem to work. I don't know. I'll just ignore them, I guess. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild. Is anybody excited for the Skeleton Crew? I feel like the Skeleton Crew is just going on. What the heck? Who are these people? Go away. Okay, just ignore them, I guess. Whatever. We'll just talk Star Wars over them. Just talk louder. Yeah, I think that... is anybody excited for the Skeleton Crew? I mean, the Skeleton Crew is going under the radar. It's a lot like the Mandalorian Season 3 where nobody's talking about it. I feel like the Ahsoka show is just so big that everybody's talking about that instead of anything else. All these leaks are coming out about the Ahsoka show. All these things are coming out about the Ahsoka show that nobody's really talking about anything else. So it kind of makes sense that these shows aren't being talked about too much. But the Skeleton Crew, I think, is going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. And Diego, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why they're doing this, but let's just ignore them. But I think the Skeleton Crew show is going to be really good. Star Wars Politics in saying, yes, I think Skeleton Crew will be great. Sounds like they may be having production issues, though. I did hear about that, these production issues that they could be having on Skeleton Crew, like people leaving the set. Like, I just don't know. I don't know if any of that's true. We don't know for sure. And I don't know if that will really affect the final product. People leaving the set, maybe just actors not being too enthused about maybe the directors or what the direction the show is going or whatever. We don't really know. But I'm really hoping that it gets its act together and we get a good show, because the production issues are never good to see. In the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars, you've seen a ton of production issues with like Rogue One and the Solo movie. It's wildness, and even like The Rise of Skywalker had a ton of production issues. It's wild. It's really wild. Star Wars Stu in today saying, I don't know really. I'll probably be more excited when it gets closer to the release. I agree. It's kind of just recency bias type thing. People are getting excited for the Bad Batch because it's in like 13 hours. And people are getting more excited for The Mandalorian Season 3 because it's getting closer. People are getting more excited for Jedi Survivor because it's getting closer. And the Ahsoka show is just getting all these leaks, so people are really excited for that. So yeah, the Skeleton Crew is just too far away for people to be that excited, and production issues kind of get people kind of bummed out, and people don't really like to see any of that. But I think it's going to be fun. Now, there is a possibility, if the Skeleton Crew does come out in like August, that we could end the year on another show. We could get yet another show in 2023, and that would be The Acolyte. That would be The Acolyte. It's supposed to be 100-ish years before The Phantom Menace. It's going to follow the dark side of the Force, acolytes of the Sith, and it could be a lot of fun. We've gotten a little bit of plot leaks from that show. We've gotten set leaks, set photos, leaks of High Republic Jedi, of Wookiee High Republic Jedi, which are really cool. The Acolyte show is up there for me for like hype level, but again, it's just too far away that I can't be too excited for it. Again, it's still in production, it's still filming. We don't know much about it, but the cast is loaded. It's got Daphne Keane, it's got Li Jiangjia from Squid Games, it's got a Wookiee Jedi. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, King, I have to ask you to get the poop out of here. just ignore him. But I'll somehow figure out how to get rid of him. I just don't know. I mean, let me try this. Hang on. Let me just try this real quick. Darth Lopez, what is up? Hang on. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Hang on. I might have just done something here. Hang on. Let me remove. Did that work? Oh shit, I just deleted the wrong one. Sorry, Star Wars 2, I just deleted your comment. Why is this so hard to do? They really gotta make this easier. Put user in timeout. Aha, you're out of here, buddy. Star Wars 2. I'm sorry, I deleted one of your messages, Star Wars, but you know. Alright, let me get this guy out of here too. There we go. I did it. I did it. We did it. We did it. Okay. We got rid of them, I think. Yeah, they're not even here anymore. Let's go. I did it. We did it. Yeah, they're gone. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right. All right, where were we? Where were we? Star Wars Politics again saying, Mike, can you turn the chat to subscribers only? I think that will fix the issue. I think I got rid of them. I timed them out or something. I honestly don't know. But their messages are gone and they're gone. So we're good. We're good for now. We're good. Thanks for the help, guys. Darth Lopez saying Darth Plagueis thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell. Darth Lopez, are you Darth Plagueis or are you Darth Lopez? Great question. Star Wars Stu, don't even talk to him. Straight face, I love it. Darth Lopez saying there had to be a Sith Lord on Acolyte. There's no way around it. Yeah. So do you think that there could be Darth Plagueis? Is that what you're saying? His grandson? Oh, okay. So yeah, so who is going to be the Sith Lord in the Acolyte? It's unknown. The leaks have been saying that it's somebody else that we've never heard of before, even in Legends. It's not Plagueis. It's not Plagueis' master. It's actually somebody new, and Disney loves to do that, create new characters that nobody seems to like at all, like a character named Riva or Rose Tico. But but yeah. But no, I could see Darth Plagueis being in that show. He would definitely be alive at the time. Palpatine wouldn't be alive yet. It could be Palpatine. I mean, Plagueis' master, who is pretty cool in Legends. We haven't seen him though in live action, so he could be really cool. There's no way around not seeing a Sith Lord in that show. It's the Acolyte. I don't see how there couldn't be one. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Mikey says, I don't think Ezra will be dark. Will ruin the sacrifice of Kanan. See, Kanan sacrificed himself to save all the rebels. Save Hera and her son. They had a son together. He saved them. He saved Zeb. He saved Sabine. He didn't just save Ezra. It wouldn't really destroy the sacrifice of Kanan, because Kanan still has a son. He still has Sabine. He still has Hera. They have a son together. I get that it would kind of just. Oh my God! What the heck? How do we? Let me get rid of this person too. Goodbye. You're gone. Okay. I just don't see, it wouldn't ruin the sacrifice because he still has a kid with Hera and all that stuff, and Ezra was already down that dark side path, but I get where you're coming from. Darth Lopez says, yes, it's Plagueis. At least I hope so. Yeah, I really hope Plagueis in live action would be so cool, and we've never seen him in live action. The only canon actual even mention of him is when Palpatine says to Anakin, have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Somebody in chat, give me the whole thing. Give me the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. But yeah, it would be cool to see him in live action. His species, the Mun or the Moon or whatever they're called, are really cool. They live a long, long time, so it would definitely be possible to see him in the Acolyte show, and it would be extremely exciting to see Plagueis in the Acolyte show. I mean, talk about fan service. People were talking about fan service earlier. It wouldn't be fan service. It wouldn't. It's a Sith show about Sith. The Sith that's alive at the time would be there. That's how I see it. Darth Stu in again saying, I'm so excited to see Acolyte. Can't wait to see the High Republican canon. So Stu, you reading the High Republic? You reading all the books? I think they're on what, like phase 2 or 3 now. Let's go to yellow for the High Republic. Boom. The High Republic. I've read the first couple books, or like the whole first phase at least. Like what was it, The Light of the Jedi, and then Rising Storm or something like that. I read all those. It's a pretty good story, honestly. The new characters are really good. Like, it is a really good story. I don't see people liking the whole. It's not getting all the views that people want to see. It's not like gauging people's attention. It's not doing what people want it to do. If that makes any sense at all. If anything, I'm making 0 sense right now. Here, you guys take the headphones. No, so yeah, it seems like yeah, what the heck? Yeah, Diego, I don't know. Just ignore them, I guess, for now. I don't know why they're coming in here. I just don't get it. We'll get rid of them. We'll just keep them coming. But yeah, no, so definitely I think the Acolyte show is going to be very exciting. I think it's going to have maybe even Plagueis, maybe even whoever. It'll be a lot of fun. I don't see it, whatever. Diego says, "Bro, what are these accounts coming and say?" I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Star Wars Politics saying, "We need a movie or a show to get for it to get attention." Yes, the High Republic gets 0 attention because it's all books. People aren't seeming to like it because it's all books and comics and whatever. To draw the normies attention, you have to have a show or a movie, and it has to be good, and it has to have people going up to them saying, "Yo, did you see the new High Republic show, or did you see the new High Republic movie?" And it has to have word of mouth. That's what the novels and the comics really lack. It's just the word of mouth is really lacking. I just have to say this because it's crazy. We were just at 11 viewers at one point, and that was the first time we hit double digits. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. First stream of 2023 to get to double digits is awesome. Thank you guys very, very, very much. I love to have actual conversations with you guys in the comments. When we were doing live streams a long time ago, it was just me and nobody else here, and I was just talking to myself, and it was lonely. But it's good to see you guys here. So thank you for being here. You guys are the best. But yeah, I think the High Republic does have a very bright future. If the Acolyte show does very good, at least, then it will be a good introduction to the High Republic era in live action, and it'll be a lot of fun. I do believe that myself. Can I actually start a... Oh, let's start a poll. Okay, you guys ready for this? This is the first ever poll on the channel. Are you guys ready for this? Diego, yes, sir. Okay. Most excited for. All right. So, first option, Bad Batch Season 2. Which, again, is in what, like 10 hours? 13 hours, 12 hours, something like that? Second option, Mando. Whoa, why is that in all caps? Mando. Why is it still in all caps? Mando. Season 3. So, like, yeah, just answer this question for me, because I really need to know. Ahsoka show. Or, we're going to add Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. Skeleton Crew. Don't mind if I, I can only do 4. Okay, well then we're just going to do those 4. We're only going to do those 4. Boom. First poll ever. Answer the poll. Please. I honestly, I know for a fact that Ahsoka's going to win, but, you know, it's whatever. I just know that most people are excited for that because of all the leaks that are coming out. Oh, whoops. Lost it. Diego says, yes, sir. Darth Lopez says his grandson. Whose grandson? Whose grandson? Who are we talking about? Mikey says, oh, wait, we already talked about that. Whoops. Okay, so. We lost our controller. Okay, so what are we feeling? Green? Let's go back to white. There we go. All right. So the Acolyte show, of course, not being on that list, you can't really talk about it because it might not be this year. It might just not be this year. But we have a lot of things to look forward to. Now let's talk about these most recent Oh, okay. We'll talk about the Bad Batch because it comes out next week. Tomorrow. I'm all over the place today. I'm all over the place today. Okay. So this is coming from the direct. It's the new posters for the Bad Batch Season 2. This is only, I think, Hunter and Omega, but we did get all of them. So Hunter obviously clearly has new colors, clearly has new things going on here. Star Wars 2, are you excited for Jedi Survivor? Of course. Okay, hang on. I'll get into that in a second. This is Omega's first look. She's got this new hat in Season 2. Whatever. Okay. We got some Ahsoka leaks to talk about in a second, but I got to answer that question from Star Wars Stu. He said, are you excited for Jedi Survivor? So this is actually a big thing for the channel. We are going to be doing live streams for video games. So we've never done this in the past. We tried it with Battlefront 2 once, and it really went terrible. It lagged the entire time. I had it set up completely poorly. But we are going to be doing live streams for video games. Now, I was thinking, in preparation for the Jedi Survivor game, we play Jedi Fallen Order through on the channel. Maybe once a week we play through a good portion of the game, maybe for an hour or two, and play through that. Do you guys want to see that? Would you guys come to a live stream if I was playing through Jedi Survivors, or Fallen Order, sorry? And I was thinking maybe we do the Lego Skywalker saga, because I played through the first prequel trilogy, but I didn't play through the rest of the game because I don't really like playing games by myself. But if I was interacting with you guys and you guys were here watching me play, I love video games and I love to play through them. Star Wars 2 said he would show up, definitely, for sure. So yeah, I definitely want to do that. I'm getting the equipment right now to be able to do that, and hopefully we'll have a lot more live streams in the year 2023. We'll have video game live streams. We'll have, of course, these Tuesday live streams as always at 1 p.m. And we're doing live watch parties. If you guys weren't here at the top of the show, we're talking about how we're going to do a watch party at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, whatever that is for you. When the Bad Batch is released, we'll be live starting at 2:50 Eastern Standard Time. We'll go 10 minutes early to talk about it and all that stuff and predict what's going on in this upcoming episode or 2 episodes. But 2:50 Eastern Standard Time a.m. we'll be live, and we're going to do a live watch party for the Bad Batch Season 2. So I really hope you guys can come to that. If not, don't worry about it. I know it's early in the morning. I know you guys don't want to, but I just feel like some people are there. Some people want to watch it, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. We'll see how it goes, but we're doing it. We're doing it. We are doing it. Mikey in today saying, I had forgotten about Kanan's son. I wonder what happened to him, if he's force sensitive, but I guess too young to be involved with any major force action or fighting. Yes, Kanan's son, Jason Syndulla, has been completely forgotten about. I made a couple videos about him actually last week, and about it was when Hera Syndulla's actress was cast, and how Jason Syndulla could be a big role because he was born right kind of after Kanan died, right? So that was before the original trilogy. Now we're talking about at least 10-ish 15-ish years later. He could be 15 years old and be fighting. He would be like the same age as Ezra was in Star Wars Rebels. And maybe Ezra comes back and trains Kanan's son, and it's like a full circle thing. Jason Syndulla is definitely a character. Jason Syndulla is definitely a character that is going to be extremely important in the upcoming future of Star Wars. I definitely believe that to be true, Mikey, and I definitely believe it. Star Wars Sue says, yes, of course. And Star Wars Politics says Ezra should train his son. I just said that. Great minds think alike. Star Wars Politics. Yes, I think Ezra should definitely train his son. It would be a full circle kind of thing. It would really be awesome if Ezra trains Jason Syndulla. I mean, with Ahsoka Tano, with Luke Skywalker. Now you're talking about Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple that we know the first apprentice of his was Ben Solo, but now we know that it was Grogu for like a solid second or two. But what if at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple he had Ben Solo, he had Jason Syndulla, he had Ezra come in every once in a while, he had Ahsoka come in every once in a while, he had Grogu come in every once in a while. Now we're talking about a lot of fun in Star Wars again. And yes, Star Wars 2, like you just said, Jason could join Luke's order. He could join that Jedi order, and maybe he was there when Kylo turns and destroys the entire Jedi Temple, or he could be somewhere else. We're talking about a lot of fun things right now. And this is the future of Star Wars. This is what could happen in 2023. This is where we're going. It's awesome to have a fun live stream, not crapping on Star Wars, not being like, oh, that last episode of Andor was so boring, or oh, why are they doing that to Obi-Wan Kenobi's character, or oh, why are they doing that to why is Boba Fett not even in his own show? This is the future of Star Wars, and this is going to be extremely exciting, extremely positive, I think, for the fan base. I think it's going to be a positive time in the Star Wars community going forward. At least I'm going to try and make it that way. Because now you're talking Jason Sintula. You're talking Jason Sintula in Luke's Jedi Academy. You're talking Thrawn and Ezra versus Ahsoka and Luke and all this crazy fun stuff. And it's going to be so cool. All right, I'm going to close this poll. Let's see where it ended, actually, before I close it. Yeah, okay, wow. So you guys voted. 80% of you are most excited for the Ahsoka show. That's crazy. 80%. That's wild. 20% were, 15% were the Mandalorian. 20% were the Mandalorian. Nobody's excited for the Bad Batch, and nobody's excited for the Skeleton Crew. Most excited, as I should say. It's crazy. It is wild that the Bad Batch is tomorrow, and not a lot of people are excited for it. I know it's animated, blah, 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 but whatever. Star Wars Sue says, that's why I hate the sequels. They ruined Luke and his story. So that's what I think Dave and John's main goal is to revive Luke's story. It's to make it that much better. It's to... Already, Luke showing up at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2 was the first step of recovering from the sequel Luke Skywalker. It's Luke Skywalker could be saved. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi was so good, blibbity blabbity blue. But no, he wasn't. He was hot garbage. And I think Dave and John could actually save him. Like Star Wars 2 said himself. Star Wars Politics again saying, Star Wars 2, yes, but he would probably die to Kylo. Yeah, Jason Sindula at Luke Skywalker's temple. He also said, could be cool live action character fight though. Yeah, Jason Sindula versus Ben Solo, that would be really, really cool. And they'd probably be around the same age, Jason Sindula being a little bit older. Star Wars Politics also says, or even animation. They could animate Luke's time at the new temple and his Padawans ending with Kylo turning. We could see his turn through the dark side through the seasons. So yeah, that would actually be really cool if they did a lot like the Clone Wars did to Anakin's character, helping him develop to the dark side, adding a Padawan in Ahsoka Tano, his fall to the dark side being that much more obvious through the Clone Wars 7 seasons. If they did that for Luke Skywalker, explaining how he became a hermit on an island, and also explaining Kylo Ren's fall or Ben Solo's fall to the dark side, and like Snoke's pull on him and all that stuff would be so cool to see in an animated show. It would cost them next to nothing, or like it would cost them a lot less than keeping Luke Skywalker being de-aged and de-aging Leia and Han Solo, and you could have all those characters involved in the show through animation. Do it. Just do it. All the Clone Wars fans out there would absolutely love it. And there's millions upon millions of us out there that would watch it, love it, talk about it, break it down, do live parties for it. It would be awesome. We should start a movement for an animated show for Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. It would just it would be awesome. Star Wars 2 says, yeah, I agree. But I hate thinking about how everything he does was just going to end and his order will be destroyed, and Luke forgetting who he is. Yeah, so obviously it will all inevitably end in the sequels, and a lot of people can't get past that. A lot of people can't look past the fact that even seeing Luke at the end of Mando Season 2, it's still going to end with Luke on Ahch-To being a hermit, cutting himself off from the Force, just the Luke Skywalker we saw in The Last Jedi. And not a lot of fans seem to like that. Even seeing Luke Skywalker, young Luke Skywalker, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. Star Wars Politics again saying animation makes more sense. And it does. then you wouldn't have to cast a live action characters for those young people, just the voices. Yeah, it would make so much more sense. And you and me, Mike, let's make the petition. Yeah, honestly, we should start it. I mean, we'd get millions of votes. Maybe we'd catch Lucasfilm's attention, and maybe we could get it done. Honestly, maybe Dave Filoni himself would see it and say, "This is a great idea. Let's do it." An animated show of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. It would be very, very cool. Very cool. All right, so we've been going for an hour and 4 minutes now, and we haven't even started talking about predictions for the Andor show. So, I mean, the Bad Batch show, Andor. Jeez, what am I, 10 months behind? Okay, predictions for the Bad Batch Season 2. So I think we got to talk about predictions for the Bad Batch Season 2. Any bold ones? Because I got some crazy predictions for these first 2 episodes. You got to think about it. So, the first season opened with a huge bang. You had Kanan escaping Order 66, his master dying, of course, but Hunter helping him escape. I think this could start off with a huge bang, of course. It's 2-episode premiere. They're probably going to be both around a half hour, so it's going to be an hour. And I think we could actually see Mount Tantus, because that's where we ended off. We could see Commander Cody immediately, like in the first episode, talking to Crosshair, establish that Commander Cody is there because he wasn't even in the first season. You could have Captain Rex talking about Commander Cody and talking about the clones and how some of them are actually turning to the dark side and turning to the good side, just taking their inhibitor chips out. Maybe Rex is having a bunch of them take their inhibitor chips out, helping them take them out. Because like Rex said when he shows up in season 1, that these clones have no idea. Fives tried to warn them in the Clone Wars, and he died for it. Rex didn't believe him, and Rex knows firsthand what it's like to try to fight against the Order 66, the inhibitor chip in their head. So maybe we have Rex trying to get other clones back to the light side, back to getting their inhibitor chips out. Then you have Commander Cody, who's talking with Crosshair, but also Mount Tantus. Now, I think Mount Tantus is going to be the biggest thing in Bad Batch Season 2. We talked about it. We've talked about it a million times. But I think that it could be just enormous, like just so big that it changes Star Wars forever. Because Mount Tantus involves cloning, involves Palpatine, involves Thrawn, but it also could involve, again, a character that is on your shirt right now. Look down, he's on your shirt. Grogu. Grogu could be there. He could be on Mount Tantus. As crazy as it sounds, Grogu could be in the Bad Batch Season 2, animated for the first time. Because what happens to him after Order 66? Who saves him from the Jedi Temple? Or who captures him from the Jedi Temple? Where is he between Order 66 and the beginning of The Mandalorian Season 1? Where is Grogu that entire time? Mount Tantus. So Star Wars politics says it's not crazy, it's actually very likely. Yes, it explains where Grogu has been, and it explains who saved him from the Jedi Temple, and that is Palpatine. Now people say, oh, Palpatine wasn't at the Jedi Temple during Order 66. Oh, whoa. You are wrong. You are wrong. When Obi-Wan and Yoda get into the Jedi Temple to change the message so that remaining Jedi don't go to the Jedi Temple, they see a security feed from the Jedi Temple of Palpatine telling Vader, Anakin Skywalker, to rise. And that is at the Jedi Temple, confirming Palpatine was there. Who else was there? Grogu. Who else isn't in anything else until The Mandalorian Season 1? Grogu. So maybe, just maybe, we see Grogu on Mount Tantus in the Bad Batch Season 2. Insanity. And maybe even in the first episode. Just maybe. But what do we think about the Bad Batch as a whole? Do we think the Bad Batch could die by the end of this season? At least one of them, maybe. I don't think Crosshair's probably set because he's the bad guy. But maybe like Wrecker or Echo or Tech could all die by the end. I don't think Hunter, and I definitely don't think Omega could be dead by the end of this season. But definitely somebody important to the show will be dead by the end of the season. That's my bold prediction, because the Bad Batch aren't in anything else. They aren't in the Kenobi show. They aren't in Andor. They aren't in the original trilogy. They aren't in the Mandalorian timeline. They'd be way too old. But it just they have to die at some point. And sadly, it's probably going to be in their own show. So those are my very, very little predictions I have for the Bad Batch Season 2, at least the opener. We're definitely going live at 2:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys are around, we're doing a live watch party for the first 2 episodes of the Bad Batch Season 2. So watch out for that. I'm going to get on out here. This is the longest stream we've actually ever done. Longest Tuesday stream we've ever done. So much activity. Thank you, Mikey, Star Wars Dude, Diego, Star Wars Politics, all you guys for coming in, dropping in, saying hello, talking in the chat. Sorry about those crazy random people that we got rid of very quickly. Orb, too, what's up? A lot of fun. A lot of fun today. Had a lot of fun today. I can't wait for Star Wars in 2023. It's going to be a crazy fun time to be a Star Wars fan. You know, I've said it once, I've said it a bajillion times that Star Wars in 2023 is going to be the best year for Star Wars ever. Video games, shows, animated stuff, all of it. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Books, everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to spend all of it with you guys on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, live watch parties. Maybe we'll do some video gaming with the Fallen Order and Survivors and all that stuff. So stick around, hit subscribe, hit that like. You know the deal. You know the deal. And may the Force be with you always.